Hello and welcome back to Just a Conversation. I'm your host, Montrell. Today's episode is about a phrase that's so simple yet so powerful. It's a phrase that led me to create a t shirt during a time in my life when I was struggling. Life was heavy and I was straddling the fence between Job and Jonah myself, and feeling like I didn't have the energy or the strength to speak, but still wanted to connect. And that phrase is, hey, hi, how are you? Now, you might be wondering what's so special about that. Well, today I want to go into how something so simple as asking someone how they are can go so much deeper, especially when we allow ourselves to truly feel and reflect on the question. So let's talk about that. Connection. It's something we all need, yet sometimes it feels like it's so hard to come by. Have you ever had one of those days where you just don't have the strength to speak? Your soul is tired, but you still want to connect. Maybe you're in a crowd or you're walking on a trail and you pass someone. You want to say something, you want to speak, but the words won't come. And it feels like your energy is running on empty. I've had those moments. And that's exactly why I created that shirt. It was for those moments when I couldn't speak, but my heart still wanted to connect and show concern for others. I thought, if I'm feeling this way, maybe someone else is too. Maybe there's someone else out there who also wants to reach out, but just doesn't have the words, the will to do so. So I made a shirt that says, hey, hi, how are you? It wasn't about the words themselves, but about offering something that might let another person know, I see you, I hear you, I'm here. And here's the thing about asking, how are you? It's not just about asking it to others, it's about asking ourselves. How often do we really pause and ask ourselves, how am I? In our busy lives, we rush through each day, thinking about everything we need to do, the people we need to support, and the endless tasks ahead of us. But rarely do we take a moment to truly check in with ourselves. What if, instead of just asking others, we took a pause every day to ask ourselves, how am I really? And what if, when we asked that question, we didn't just stop at the surface level? What if we allowed ourselves to truly feel into the answer? For me, part of this journey has been about reflecting, honoring the pause, and allowing myself the time to reconnect with where I am emotionally. I've learned that sometimes we need to give ourselves permission to be vulnerable enough to answer that question honestly. And in doing so, we open up a deeper level of connection, not just with others, but with ourselves. Now, this is where we get into something really important, the pause. You see, sometimes we need to pause before we move forward. We need to honor that space in between action and reflection. And this is where the honoring the pause practice comes in. It's a practice that I've come to value deeply because it allows us to take a step back, reflect, and truly answer certain questions before we take our next step. Not just what do I need, but how am I doing? It's in that space, that pause, that we gather clarity. It's in that space of reflection that we find direction. And sometimes it's in the stillness of the pause that we hear the most important answers. So if you're listening to this and thinking, I'm too busy, I don't have time for a pause, I get it. But what I want to remind you of today is this: the pause is just as important as the action. Without it, we might move forward, but without clarity. We might make decisions, but without intention. And we might push ourselves to do, but miss out on the deeper understanding that's waiting for us in the stillness. So here's your invitation today. As we close this conversation, I want you to take a moment and ask yourself, how am I really? And if you're feeling inspired, I would like to encourage you to share this message with someone else. Share this phrase. Ask the question, hey, hi, how are you? Maybe like me, you'll find that someone else is walking their own trail of struggles, feeling lost, depleted, like they can't speak, but wanting to connect. Maybe this little gesture, this simple question will help them feel seen. But it doesn't end with them. It starts with you. Check in with yourself. Honor your pause and take the time to reflect. I want to thank you for listening to this episode of Just a Conversation. I appreciate you for taking this time to connect with me. And remember, wherever you are on your journey, you are seen, you are heard, and you are not alone. Until next time, have the audacity to be authentically you. I'm Montrell, and this has been Jack.